on the broadcast, coat in the comment, chanting every line. You're tuned to the truth that you'll never find online. Come on, it's the cult of Ron and Brian. If you're in, you ain't ever going quiet. Twist that dial, let the whole world hear it. Two sharp minds and the bad influence spirit. Hey, cult of Ron and Brian. Welcome to the ride, you're inside it now.
Oh, and here we are, folks. It is Sunday night. It is 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, and it is time for episode 413 of the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast. Brian, how the hell are you this fine evening?
I'm doing amazing. I cannot believe that we are already into our second episode of July. We are so knee deep in hot podcaster summer that it is
hot podcaster summer.
Ron, how are you doing?
Can't complain. You know, it was a nice weekend. Thankfully, those huge storms. I don't know if you saw some of the flooding and destruction outside Philadelphia. Thankfully, that was all south of us. We did get a lot of rain, but we didn't get the wind and the flooding and the mass casualties.
That is such a shame because I prayed to Beelzebub this weekend saying, please, can you take all of that destructive power and send it to Philly adjacent, not South Philly, but to Philly adjacent inside the gated community where Ron and Mrs. Ron domicile. I said, you can have my soul in exchange for the destruction of Ron's house. I'm very disappointed to see you are podcasting from your home office. You seem to be uninjured. Maybe my prayers went unheeded.
Well, much like the podcast championship, you can't quite get the job done. And I continue to hold on. Oh, there it is. Haven't shown this off in a bit. There is the title belt. So now that we have belt in hand, let's get beverages in hand. It's time for Drink of the Week.
Well, welcome aboard. Don't spill your brew. We've got one cup and maybe two. A mystery pour in a paper sleeve, the kind that makes the wise men grieve. Hey! Drink of the week, drink of the week. Raise it up, let the anchors creak. Drink of the week, drink of the week. Bottoms up for the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast.
So as we have been doing for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the collaboration between Other Half Brewing and Juniors, both Brooklyn favorites. Had nothing but great things to say, Brian, about your ad read last week. So
Really?
much so that they have re-upped their sponsorship for one more week. Brian, talk to us about the beverage we will be consuming this week.
You are looking at a can of the what is this? This is the key lime.
Key lime
the
cheesecake,
key lime.
double dry hop sour IPA.
This is a sour IPA, key lime cheesecake. What makes it special is that this hazy sour key lime cheesecake inspired IPA brewed with a collaboration between Other Half Brewing and Junior's Restaurant. It is a lime forward, hops and lime coming together. There is so much lime in this. It's going to be, you're going to have some flavors of graham, milk sugar, and oats to make a smooth key lime flavor. Brewed with Motueka hops, Citra, lime, graham cracker. This beer comes in at a lofty 6.5 ABV. We're getting our hands on this early. We are a beer forward podcast. Beer Advocate doesn't even have scores for this. That's how early adapters we are to this new technology known as Other Half Brewing collaborations with the kind folks at Juniors. This is what it looks like. Look at the haze. I'm going to turn it around. No, you don't get to see the back of our heads. You look at the front right there. Look at that beautiful pint glass. The Cult of Ron and Brian podcast, the official Drink of the Week beverage receptacle. Ron, do you have your beer?
I, of course, have mine in the old school Ron and Brian podcast glass. Do you want
Then
to take a sip first, or would you like me to?
I believe this is one of those opportunities where champ's privilege does kick in. What are you smelling first?
So I'm definitely getting the hoppiness, but I'm getting the citrus notes, and I'm getting some of the pine. It's
Pine.
if it tastes anywhere, well, from the typical double dry hoppedness.
Got
of
it.
the
Okay.
IPA.
All right. Take your sip. Take your sip. Okay. The man sipped. The man has sipped. Let's hear it.
That is good.
Ooh.
Hold on. Take a sip, my friend.
Hold on. He's taking his sip. He's going for his second. I'm going for my first.
I'm impressed by that.
Oh,
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
That is again, it's a little tart, it's a little sour, not too sour. It's a little hoppy, not too hoppy, and it's a little citrusy, but not too citrusy.
This is such a good beer. I'm going in for more. I'm so glad. I'm going to say this, and you know me. I'm not one to compliment you, Ron. Normally I just point out all the losing parlays that you send my way that I tail.
There's a lot of hate that comes your way. Yes.
Understood. But the idea you had of saying, listen, these folks over at Other Half have offered to send us some beverages in exchange for some reviews. This was such a great idea on your part. Champ's privilege. This is a delicious, the word lime comes up 4 times in the description in the ad read they sent over. And I'm going to tell you something. It is that lime forward. There is so much lime flavor in this. This is delicious. I'm not getting a lot of sweetness from a cheesecake. So like you said, it is a sour.
What we typically complain about with these flavored beers is they don't taste like what they claim to be. You get the lime flavor here. You get a little bit of that milk sugar. I mean, I know my palate is a little bit more refined when it comes to milk sugar as than yours. I know your palate is more refined for man milk, but I really am getting the milk sugar in there.
But yet, I'm also going to say this: that you do taste the graham. Like whether it's a graham cracker, whatever they're using, you absolutely taste this. This is a delicious beer. Over here, Other Half Brewing in their collab with Juniors. Ron, I know you've been collabing quite a bit with local rehab centers in exchange for them working with you. But I'm going to tell you something. This collaboration idea you had with the Other Half Brewing, a wonderful idea. This is a delicious beer. I am going to savor it this week.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you're glad. In the meantime, let's keep things rolling. It's time for Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
My beef of the week last week is what's bothering me because I believe I owe an apology to all fans of the cult of Ron and Brian. For loyal listeners, last week my beef was that I felt I had been lied to by the local officials, my property manager, the kind folks at the Macy's July 4th fireworks show. Because
right.
Because when my lady and I went downstairs to go watch the fireworks, we couldn't see a damn thing. And people were leaving. And I was very upset about it. If you remember, I probably did about an 8-9 minute rant. I think you lost interest about 3 minutes into it. I think at one point you were filing your nails while blowing bubblegum. I'm going to tell you something. And by the way, bubblegum was your best friend back in college. My point here is I owe an apology to everybody. Because in conversations with my coworkers later on in the week about the fireworks spectacular, it was brought to my attention that it was announced late afternoon that the fireworks show was going to be moved up by about an hour because of the threat of incoming storms. So the fireworks show that was supposed to go from 9:30 to 10:30 went from 8:30 to 9:30. So as we were walking over to the boardwalk, the people walking away probably had seen some fireworks. So
Gotcha.
I I owe everybody an apology for bringing a terrible beef of the week last week without having all the facts. I just went into a rant, showed my level of anger, unwarranted, and I need to apologize to everybody.
Well, kudos to you for your niceties and your taking accountability. Good question from Janelle. You could not hear fireworks that were going off for an hour?
They were so far. It was down by the I'm nowhere near the Statue of Liberty. I'm up. By Midtown Manhattan. I would not have heard fireworks that far away.
All right, fair enough. Well,
good question.
Thank you for owning up to it.
Understood. Ron.
Yes.
What's bothering you this week?
So this week, Brian, it's my doctor's office. And I know I've complained about my doctor's office before, but it's very difficult to change doctor's offices. I don't know if you've tried. I tried a few months ago, and the soonest I could get an appointment at a new doctor's office was November. So I was like, well, I guess we just suck it up. We keep moving forward. So I was there the other week, had to have some blood drawn, have some blood work done. And when the blood was drawn, I have to say it was the most pain-free blood draw I've ever had. I was like, oh, she really did a good job here. Yes.
When they were drawing your blood, were they using like watercolors, acrylic paint? Like how were they drawing it?
Brian, you ignorant slut. Don't go for the low-hanging fruit joke like that. So anyway, I get the blood taken, and a couple days later, I look at my arm where the blood was taken. Look at this. Look at this freaking bruise on my arm. And this is starting to heal a bit. So 2 days later, I get this. This is easily a $50 size. And if you're not looking on camera, you can't see how that's like that is.
That is a gigantic hematoma.
It's absolutely,
and your nickname in college was homotoma. So it was anyway. Why would they draw blood here? Normally, don't they draw blood at this point?
So I apparently have small veins, is what they tell me. And
from the years of heroin abuse.
So she was trying to find it in the crook of the arm. She put the tourniquet on there, and then a vein up in the upper part of the arm popped up, and she was like, "Oh, do you mind if I use that one?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit." And so she got in there, and then that happens. To make it worse, I get a voicemail from my doctor's office on Tuesday. Oh, we didn't take a big enough sample, so none of the tests were able to be run. So now you need to find some time to come back in, and we'll jab you probably in the other arm and bruise that one.
Have you taken a photo of it to send to the doctor's office to let them know this is what they did to you?
I have not, no.
Because I'm going to tell you something.
Like confrontation.
That looks like a hickey from your wife.
Brian, you and I both know my wife does not come near me anymore. We've been married for a very long time.
What is it, 12 years?
It'll be 13 years.
It'll be 13. It'll be 13 later in this October.
Yeah. October
31st. Lucky 13. What are you guys going to be doing for your 13th?
I don't think we've decided yet. We have to, she does like to go away for our anniversary. She usually likes going someplace warm, so we'll play it by ear, see what happens.
May I make a recommendation?
Of course.
West New York, New Jersey. Come on and visit. 4 of us. We'll take you out for dinner.
All right, sounds like a plan. Next up, we've got our stories of the week. These are the stories that, as you folks know, we read during the week. It captures our thoughts, our minds, our souls, and we have to share them with you. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
Ron, do we have a photo of Leandro Andres Bartazzo that you can put up?
I believe we do, Matt. Can you put that up? There we go.
All right, there we go. This is Leandro. We'll just refer to him as Leandro. And as you can see, this is not an AI-generated photo. He is actually an Argentinian airline pilot, or I should actually start using the past tense. He was an Argentinian pilot, still Argentinian, still has the ability to do a flight inspector, but he is no longer alive. Here is this story absolutely stunned me. I'm going to read this verbatim. I'm going to read this verbatim before I start going on tangents. An Argentinian flight inspector jumped out of a plane to his death in the middle of a flying lesson after telling his student, "You know what you have to do," and leaving her to land the aircraft by herself. Leandro is identified as the instructor who bailed out of a Cessna 150G aircraft over the central Argentinian town of Toledo on July 4th. Obviously, he was upset that the America 250th anniversary celebration wanted to steal some of our thunder, but U.S. does not share thunder, abandoning his underling in the process. The quote exactly was, "You know what you have to do. Carry on," he told his 22-year-old student, only identified as Rosario. Leandro then unbuckled himself from his seat, removed his headset, opened the door, and jumped out. Rosario, who has a private pilot's license, alerted officials at the Flying Parrot Flight School in Cordoba to the mid-air tragedy and was guided through emergency protocols to safely land the training plane. The student was left shaken, I would imagine so, over the traumatic incident, but was commended for her ability to pilot the aircraft safely to the ground. Can you imagine? And I'm going to say she probably was about a minimum of 5 minutes to, I'm going to guess, somewhere closer to 15 minutes from the moment he jumps. And the article doesn't say how many feet in the air it was when he jumps.
But you have to figure cruising altitude.
Well, I mean, they're probably not like 30,000 feet. This is a small prop engine Cessna. The point here is, can you imagine you've got your license, you're up there, you're learning how to fly properly, and the guy jumps out, and now the only way for you to survive, because now you're dead meat, except if you can land this plane safely.
Right.
If this does not have if there's not a Nick Cage movie being right now shopped around Hollywood about whether about Nick Cage being the guy who lands the plane, I guess I'm gonna have to land the plane. I cannot even imagine the level of freak out that this poor young lady had to go through.
Yeah, I mean, number one, you would imagine, like, you always see, like, if they open a window in a plane, like, people just literally get sucked out. So the fact that she didn't get sucked out, obviously strapped in, but then it's a case of you've just literally watched someone jump to their death, and now you've got to pull yourself together and land this plane on your own. And
someone whose very presence is there to get you home safe. Like that's like going up in a plane with a certified pilot there. He's there to make sure that you operate this plane safely. Jumps to his death. What a freak out. Ron, top it.
I mean, it's going to be tough, and the people will decide if this is in the same ballpark or if this is worse. Brian, a man in Fort Worth cut off his own genitals and used them to start a fire. Indiana authorities say Christopher Pedden first told police he'd been stabbed downtown by a stranger who threatened him the day before. Plot twist: from his hospital bed, Pedden came clean around 2 a.m. He'd gone into his garage, taken a kitchen knife to his own genitals, doused the severed organ in gasoline, and lit it on fire before wandering off until cops found him. Investigators recovered a gas can, 4 lighters, and the knife at the scene. Court records don't say whether the other evidence was ever located. He is charged with arson, which brings up to 12 years prison sentence if he's convicted. Gonna go out on a limb and say there's some mental illness at play here.
I would imagine so. I mean, Jesus, that's fucking scary.
You have to be very upset at yourself and enraged at your penis to do this kind of thing.
Correct. Or as people with very large members like myself, I mean, sometimes like the weight that it carries in your pants, you're like, I just want to know, I want to experience what it's like walking around without having to carry those 8 pounds of penis and scrotum. I mean, I can relate. I can certainly relate to that desire.
Is it wrong that I want to know more? Is it wrong that I'd like to understand the thought process here?
I want to see a photo, Ron. I want to see a photo
don't
of
need
what
that.
does it look like. Does he look like a Ken doll? Does he look like a Ken doll right now? Did they try to reattach it? How's it taking? Have they just like attached like a little balloon for him to pee through? Like, I just definitely want to know.
It's a lot, but you can see why that was my story of the week.
Oh, hands down, or penis away.
Hey, penis burned. You don't have to imagine there won't be that many copycats out there.
Agreed.
Let's hope. Speaking of stories of the week, this story came out this morning that everybody has been talking about all day today. The passing of South Carolina Congressman Lindsey Graham at the age of 71. His office said that he had a sudden and what was it? Was it brief and sudden illness? Was what they said at the time. Later today, DC medical examiner stated that Lindsey died from a aortic dissection caused by arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease. So apparently, that's a buildup of calcium on your aorta, which can then cause it to break and bleed out, and very difficult to survive that. Apparently, once that aortic dissection happens.
I mean, are we going to talk about his ladybugs, or are we just going to jump right to trying to remember him fondly as a true patriot?
Well, I was going to say, Brian, you are the senior closeted congressperson expert here on the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast, but you always have your finger on the pulse of politics. Lots of very different things being said about Lindsey Graham, who I think you could have called him in between, but prior to the Trump and the MAGA years, I think you probably could have looked at him as almost a moderate leaning conservative. But then he really, after talking down Trump and after warning the GOP that Trump would be the destruction of their party, just really bought all in to the rhetoric once Trump came to power.
But first off, one of the things we learned from the Fox News lawsuits after the 2020 election is that a lot of the lip service that the right have put out about Trump is not necessarily things that they actually believe so much as things that they need to publicly say to not piss him off. Who knows what he actually, I mean, like the amount of public praise that he gave Donald Trump during both administrations, just unforgivable. Especially somebody who had such a track record of negotiating, of compromising, of coming up with joint legislation that could be backed by Democrats and Republicans. Sure. For him to, obviously, with the innuendos that had been made about his private life. I mean, we're not going to get into it. It's honestly, the body is barely cold at this point, and it would be inappropriate of me to point out that there was an escort, a male escort in D.C. who published an article saying that he had been hired by Lindsey Graham to provide sexual favors to the then senator. I mean, it would be inappropriate of me to point that out. It would be inappropriate of me to point out that he had a nickname within the homosexual community in Washington, D.C. of ladybugs because of the boils on his rectum that he referred to as his ladybugs. I believe they were boils. It could be hemorrhoids. Not really. I don't remember the story too well, but I remember somebody being like, "Hey, what the hell is all that back there?" And he just said, "Oh, those are my ladybugs." Or the fact that during the most recent congressional shutdown, he ran to Disney, where he was seen by himself walking around with a princess baton in his hand.
And a tiara.
Yeah, so it would be wildly inappropriate. I think now at the time we should point out all the great progress and the benefits that he brought to DC And for that, I'm just going to skip because we don't really need to cover any of that. The
It's
point is,
yes.
yeah, I was just going to say it is shocking that he died because I think everybody who enjoys a good congressional death, anybody, we've all been waiting for news on Mitch McConnell. I mean, this is
Sure.
getting dragged out. The number of people who've said he is brain dead. I forwarded to you an earlier post earlier that I came across, which basically said, do you remember when Dianne Feinstein was coming out of whatever rehab facility she was? Half of her face was drooled down. She was in a wheelchair. She could barely communicate. Her office had been doing the work for her. They dragged her and put her onto the congressional floor to show that she was alive. They're not even doing that with Mitch McConnell, which gives you an idea of how bad he's doing. And yet, we woke up to this morning to the news that it was Lindsey Graham that passed.
And of course, conspiracy theorists are already at work because he was just recently over in the Ukraine. He was visiting a drone factory, a military drone factory, which apparently was bombed by the Russians after his departure. So they say. Some people are saying he died in that attack, and Trump doesn't want this to become another war. So he is
Really?
He is putting forth the story that he died here. I mean, I don't think he was.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's a beautiful one.
But it is interesting. Like what I find most interesting is you have all these people on the right who are poo-pooing anyone that is reveling in the death of Lindsey Graham. The same people on the right that seem to take pleasure in when Americans get killed by ICE agents, who support a president who, I mean, when Robert Mueller died, talk shit about him on True Social and Twitter. It was horrible to John McCain when he passed. John McCain, who was a close personal friend of Lindsey Graham. I mean, all I will say, if I can quote the great Clarence Darrow, I have never killed anyone, but I have read some obituary notices with great satisfaction.
I like that. That's well said.
I would say that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But you talk
I'm not
about
upset.
Mitch McConnell. We actually had, I guess, somewhat of a proof of life situation today when a photo of him and his wife, who returned from China last week, was posted by the Daily Mail and some other news outlets. He announced that he had a fall last month that landed him in the hospital. He said, quote, "My doctors have confirmed that I didn't break any bones or suffer a concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I didn't have any tumors or hemorrhages, but I was briefly unconscious and was taken to the hospital." And then he also had to deal with a mild case of pneumonia.
Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that?
Not at all. Because again, how many, was it almost a month that we hadn't heard anything?
Correct.
And people were saying, like, he either needs to give an update or he needs to vacate his seat. People were pressuring the governor of Kentucky to just say, if there's no proof of life, move forward with a special election. But apparently he has moved from a hospital to a rehab center where he will continue to, I can't say hopefully get better, but we'll see what happens.
And yet he is collecting a full paycheck. He's been out of work for a month.
Collecting
and somehow
a full paycheck. And
we know your employer, and of course, and benefiting from taxpayer-provided health care.
Exactly. Health care that he has repeatedly voted to strip away from other Americans.
What up? This is the second week in a row. Fucking hell. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, mate.
Mate.
Hey, speaking of which, random just because of the accent, did you catch any of the Conor McGregor fight for the UFC card last night?
No, I did not watch any of the UFC. I actually forgot that it was taking place until late last night when I realized that I had forgotten about it.
So apparently, Conor hurt his knee right at the beginning of the fight. Fight was
a minute into it.
Yeah, Brian, you are the official Minuteman correspondent of the Ron and Bryant podcast, and again, you have been a UFC fan for a long time. How disappointing must this have been for fans that had paid probably really good money to be there in person to see this comeback?
This is beyond disappointing. I mean, if you can imagine the thousands of dollars, UFC fights are not cheap, and to sit in the top section at a UFC pay-per-view event, you're talking about almost $1,000 just to get into the building. Of course, that is to make up for all of the tickets that Dana White gives away for free to aspiring right-wing comedians. But Conor McGregor is probably the biggest name that has come out of the UFC in years. Obviously, he hasn't fought in a long time, but when he was fighting,
Like 5 years, I think.
Yeah, he was basically as big as he can get. Injured himself, also a leg problem, if I'm not correct.
He tore his ACL in his last fight 5 years ago,
and was not seen from. This was his big comeback, and he pulled a Jose Canseco by immediately crumpling to the ground and saying that he couldn't continue to fight. I'm glad I didn't stay up late to watch it.
I saw one of the sports books, I forget which one, reported that 92% of the money put on that fight was put on Conor McGregor. Like a wide number of people were expecting that this man was going to be able to walk out of a 5-year retirement and beat an active UFC fighter.
Yeah. Oh, God, I wish I had
just because he had beaten him 5 years ago.
Yeah. I really wish what are you going to do? Missed opportunity. Instead, I got talked into betting on Tarek Skubal to get 7 strikeouts today.
It's a disappointing performance all around. A lot of tears were shed today.
Be better, Ron. Be better.
I'm going to do my best. Brian, we're going to talk about Bryan Johnson. We've talked about him before. This is a man who is trying to hack his biology to live forever. Doesn't he also track his son's erections? Wasn't that the last time we covered his story? And he had said that he wished to live until the year 2140. Well, now, Brian, in a tremendous case of irony, I think, he has found out that his stomach is eating itself. He revealed that he has autoimmune gastritis, an incurable condition where the immune system attacks the stomach lining, discovered after years of unexplained low iron. The man who spent millions tracking every biomarker in his body says it hid from him anyway. True to form, he's vowing to solve it with his usual biohacking arsenal.
What a shame.
It is kind of surprising because he's literally had, I think, pretty much every medical test possible and then some. This man has had run on himself, and yet he still had this disease that didn't get caught. You have to figure either God or his body hates him very, very much.
Is it possible the answer is both?
Could be could be some of column A, could be some of column B. I would imagine his son's not too thrilled with him. I don't know. I would have preferred, would have liked my dad measuring my erections on a daily basis. I know you paid for that service when you were in college, so I'm not going to judge you for that. We don't judge people here.
No, I did not pay for anybody to.
Sure.
I remember it quite well. That was never the case.
I remember the Bryan bugs used to come in the morning, and they'd get out. Not a yardstick. Obviously, they didn't need that much. They would just get like a broken ruler and use that. You don't remember those days?
I don't remember those days. If I were you, I would change subjects and let's move on.
Fair enough. Brian, an Idaho mom who blamed vaccines for her twins' deaths is now charged with murder. This is a shot of Andrea Shaw in custody right now. She went on an anti-vax internet show days after her 18-month-old twins died in 2025, claiming vaccine reactions killed them. A grand jury now says otherwise. She's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for allegedly suffocating them. She is now facing life or the death penalty. She was also a plaintiff in a lawsuit against the American Academy of Pediatrics. She was playing this out so much that she was actually suing the American Academy of Pediatrics for their vaccine recommendations that she claimed had killed her children.
Ooh, do we describe this as satisfying or no?
In what way?
I mean, I obviously I don't want to say that anytime a child dies like this, it's something that we should feel good about.
Just
But
wanted
the
to
fact
clarify that point.
Correct. No, not in that. I'm talking just simply the fact that a right-leaning individual who claims to be anti-vaccine use that as a cover for the murder of her children.
It seems very devious because from what I read, like she never really had, according to the people around her, she never really had like any kind of political leanings that she was vocal about. She was never really anti-vax, before. But then, her children die. She blames vaccines, and then it turns out that she may have suffocated them, allegedly.
Yeah.
We will see how this plays out. This is going to be a documentary on Netflix in a year.
Correct.
Like this
Correct.
This is definitely, people are going to be digging into this story.
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Can't wait. All right. What's the next story we have here?
You tell me.
I don't know. I'm burping up key lime now. That's the only bad thing about this beer. I'm burping up some key lime right now. Next story, Brian, is about a Las Vegas Little League president who blew team funds on strip clubs, casinos, and Blue Chew. Here is the.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me?
You are familiar with the product. That's the only reason.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ron.
So this is a mugshot. Don't know why they put a bar over his eyes. This is a mugshot of Steve Rodriguez Prado. He allegedly siphoned nearly $64,000 from Central Little League through 79 sketchy Zelle transfers to a business run by his wife, leaving the league's account with a grand total of $25. Where did the kids' uniform money go? Well, there was a $1,351 strip club tab, which included an $800 bottle of Don Julio in 1942, Bellagio bar visits, sportsbook bets, and $294 of erectile dysfunction medication. He's got a prior robbery conviction also. I'm amazed that a Little League had 64 grand in its bank account. I mean, that just seems like a lot of money. But I guess youth sports in general is just overly expensive. But that's just crazy.
That is, isn't it? That's fucking nuts. I mean, how much money? How is it that you and I have not stolen massive amounts of money and gotten away with it?
We need to obviously go volunteer like at Little League or a church or a charity of some sort. Those seem to be the places where you can embezzle money. So Matt should do a little legwork for us.
I feel like we're leaving money on the table here.
Or at the very least, leaving it in somebody's bank account when it could be in ours.
Fair point.
Did you ever play Little League when you were a kid?
I did. I did 1 year of Little League.
Okay.
And it was. I liked playing baseball. I didn't like getting yelled at by a coach for playing baseball. It just wasn't fun to me. And obviously I wasn't great at it, much like podcasting. And I just remember you were supposed to correct me and say, no, you're great at podcasting.
Oh,
Brian.
sorry.
You're a terrible improv partner here.
Yes, you are horrible, Brian.
I would swing and miss, or a fly ball would be hit in my direction and I would drop it. And, I just didn't need a grown adult sitting there being like, you got to try harder. You got to lock in, kid.
You got to make contact with that ball. You got to keep your elbow tucked in. You got to swing through the ball.
All I remember thinking was like, I could be home with my friends right now. Why am I here getting yelled at? It just didn't make sense. I was like, fuck it.
When I was younger, I wasn't in Little League because, after my parents divorced, I had to go to my dad's on the weekends. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I wish I could have played Little League. In hindsight, there's no way I should have been playing Little League. No. I am not, I played tennis in high school. I was not what you would consider athletic and baseball definitely was not my sport. They used to force me when I still worked on property and hotels. They would have softball teams, and they'd be like, "Oh, we need someone to play," and then they put me at like shortstop or first base. It's just the absolute worst thing in my adult life.
I feel like you're more of like a third baseman.
Not even. I was like, put me in right field,
Sure.
and just hope nobody hits it out there.
And hope nobody hits it out to me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like they had me pitch one time. I'm like, really? I'm your best option for pitching tonight? Like, no.
Yeah. Listen, you should have been. You look like you would be more of like a bench player that just entertains all the players. Yeah.
A manager. I'm the rah guy. Yeah, run it out, Jimmy. Run it out.
You're the player that gets caught eating a hot dog in the third inning, like sitting munching down a hot dog.
The only good thing about playing softball was drinking beers at the end of the game. Yeah. Like, all right, that part I excelled at.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Speaking of sports, Brian, World Cup still going on right now. Final Four. We had some smaller teams looking good early on, but what do we got? We got France versus Spain in one semifinal, and we've got England and Argentina in another.
Sure.
Pretty much who you would have expected at this point.
Well, they are the top four teams in terms of rankings. It's exactly what FIFA had predicted in terms of the quality of play. It's you hate to see it, but there have been a lot of accusations over favoritism by officiating in this tournament. People have been suggesting that betting Messi, Haaland, and Kane 2 goals this past weekend in their games. Stupid move, just a dumb, stupid move. Idiotic, moronic, however you want to say. But I'm going to tell you something, man. It has been a fun ride. These games have gotten better. You can actually see the level of play has gotten better.
100%.
It's gotten tighter. It's been more competitive. So I'm just enjoying it.
I was a little bummed. I hoped Norway would pull off the upset against England the other day. The one teammate, I forget his name, but the guy who didn't pass off like a wide open shot to Haaland and tried to take it himself, he's getting torn apart in his own country right now and across social media.
Ron, I had $10 on Haaland anytime goal scorer. You sent me that clip earlier. Oh.
If I was a teammate of Haaland, I'd be feeding that guy the ball anytime I could. Because I'm like, this guy is significantly better than I am. Correct. I'd be fine just getting assist after assist after assist by just feeding this Viking mongoloid ball and letting him score.
Nobody's ever going to remember your name. They'll remember Haaland's name. So just feed him the ball and take the assists.
I mean, now they're going to – I forget his name already, but other people are going to remember his name, but just not for a good reason. Sure.
Him and the U.S. Also, let's not talk about it. This past week, the U.S.'s dream in the World Cup came to an end in a very embarrassing 4-1 loss to Belgium. Really a humbling game. Just humbling.
We didn't look like we belonged in the round of 16 based on our performance.
We didn't. I don't think we deserved to be there. We got there. Great. It was fun. But it was only a matter of time. I mean, and you know what I said later on in the week when Belgium was playing Spain? I just said, I'm actually kind of glad we lost to Belgium because even if we had gotten past Belgium, Spain would have just ripped us apart.
Oh yeah.
It would have been more embarrassing to lose against Spain than to Belgium.
So who's your pick now that we're down to 4 teams? Who's your pick to win it all right now?
I'm going to say my pick is France, and if France does not get past Spain, it's going to my team becomes Spain. I just think that the winner of that game goes on to win the whole thing. England looks good, does not look elite. Argentina has started off looking elite. Now, the last 2 games have been a struggle, whereas Spain has rolled through. Same with France. I haven't even seen France really challenge this World Cup yet.
I would agree with you. France looks solid. I mean, one thing you can say about Spain, I think they gave up that one goal they gave up in the last game, the first goal they've given up the entire World Cup. But you look at all the talent you got Mbappe, and he's obviously
Sure.
one of the contenders for the Golden Boot. But was it
Mm-hmm.
Ombele is also up there?
Sure.
I mean, you've got and I forget the other third guy, but you've got these three guys just feeding each other. Assists, goals, assists, goals.
Yeah.
To your point, I in a rare moment we're going to agree with each other. I think I like France, but I think whoever comes out of that France-Spain match is the one that takes it.
Yeah, same. But you know what? So here's the thing. So Tuesday is the France-Spain game. Wednesday
Correct.
is England-Argentina. How are you watching Sunday's game? First off, is it a day game? Will we be able to podcast afterwards?
Let's take a look real quick. Let me hop into
Because
the
it's important
ESPN
that we, because it's important that we, I want to properly watch this game.
How does one properly watch it?
I have a couple beverages.
All right, so it is a 3:00 game.
Perfect. We're good to go.
So I assume you will be going to New York, New Jersey Stadium in person. You'll have your usual club box there to watch the final.
You couldn't pay me enough to go to that game. I will be watching from the comfort of my living room or somewhere else within the Ivory Tower.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we will obviously be talking about that final next week.
Sure.
Here. But in the meantime, let's keep moving along with stories. This is an interesting story, Brian. A Pasadena doctor who drove his family off of a cliff has had all of his charges dismissed. This is a photo of radiologist Dharmesh Patel and the rest of his family. He drove all of them in his Tesla off a 250-foot cliff at Devil's Slide, California in 2023. All four miraculously survived after completing a 2-year mental health diversion program. A judge wiped away his 3 attempted murder charges this week. He walked out of court and left with his wife by his side.
I mean, was it a technicality that the charges got dropped? Like on what grounds?
So on the grounds that he basically had suffered a mental break, and that was why he did what he did. I'm trying to find the story because it goes into it a little bit more in the story.
Am I a bad person for wanting to hold people accountable for the actions that they take while having their mental breakdowns? Like, I know the argument of temporary insanity. I just don't support it. I don't. This guy should be in jail, even if he did have a breakdown.
Well, so his attorneys argued that he was suffering from a major depressive disorder. Psychologists said he had a psychotic break. He was reportedly experiencing hallucinations, hearing footsteps, and he believed his children had been sex trafficked. His delusions were allegedly provoked by the nation's fentanyl crisis, the war in Ukraine, and Patel's fears that his children could be kidnapped and molested, which appeared to have been connected to his worries about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
What a nut job.
I mean, again, we want to be open about mental illness here, but it really seems like he just grabbed a bunch of stuff out of the headlines and said, these are the things that are causing me stress.
Correct.
I think what helped is his wife, in a court hearing in May of 2024, testified on his behalf, said, we need him in our life. We're not a family without him.
My goodness. What a sucker. What a fucking sucker.
So now there is a treatment plan in place that relies in part on Patel's family to report any signs of further mental instability. She said that she called him a kind and altruistic man who has been her best friend for more than 25 years.
Nonsense, just utter nonsense. I can't defend this shit.
You hope nothing additional happens in the future, but if not, like, you have to wonder, you have to blame the judge at that point. Like, I guess you don't want to separate a family from their father if he really was suffering a traumatic psychological event. But yeah, to your point, like, I feel like you got to do a little bit of time here.
Right. You got to pay the price. It's mind-boggling to me how this happens. He's got how is he not in jail? It just blows my mind.
I've got no answer for that whatsoever.
So be it. So be it.
Let's see here. Next up, we've got a New Jersey woman with a tattoo that says apparently boobs. She was ID'd after sexually assaulting a child and posting footage on Snapchat. Victoria Cranmer, age 25, allegedly filmed herself sexually assaulting a child under 13 in a Little Egg Harbor bathroom while laughing and posted the clip to Snapchat. She got caught because a former roommate found the video on a phone Cranmer had returned after a falling out, and investigators recognized her from a distinctive leg tattoo. She's held without bail on multiple charges. Brian, defend your state.
I'm not going to defend my state, Ron, but I could help this woman. I believe
you can, huh?
I believe that with the right coaching, I could help her get onto the path of making better choices in life.
So you think, you're looking to really put yourself out there to help this woman and get her where she needs to be, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. She needs to be saved from these partying ways of hers.
Maybe the Jersey connection is what does it. I don't know.
She's a nut job, and Christ. Who gives back a phone? Somebody gives you a phone for your birthday. How do you give it back?
I don't know. Speaking of New Jersey, Brian, Jersey Shore lifeguards had to wrangle some hammered guy who wasn't cooperating out in the surf. The full details are thin as to what exactly happened, but there was.
Yes? Oh my goodness. Ron and your shitty internet. Am I still on, people? If you're watching this, Ron just completely froze. So I'm going to do this story.
All right, I'm back.
Ron, what is going on here? Ron, your internet, you say you're the champion, but you've got the internet of somebody still using dial-up.
All right, so let's put this video on here. You can see the lifeguards with their little milk jugs, and this guy literally just battling them as they are trying to save his freaking life. Yeah.
They're trying to drag him out of the water where clearly he was having some type of incident out there. And as every time they try to pull him closer to shore, he stands up and starts swinging at them. But because he's so intoxicated, allegedly, he falls down further, causing them to pull him up because he's now, being hit by the waves. I mean, this literally, it is so bizarre to watch a video of a guy trying to fight his saviors.
I mean, this to me seems like a case where you can just be like, all right, let's just leave him to drown.
Yeah. Just wild to me. I mean, that could only happen in New Jersey.
It's definitely, listen, not everybody at the Jersey Shore is from New Jersey, but I'm going to go on a limb and say, that person's probably from New Jersey.
Hurtful. He's probably from New Jersey.
Brian, we're going over to your favorite place, the UK, where a mom was almost tossed from a Tesco over a backless top that she was wearing during this most recent heat wave. This is a photo of Alex Galatis, age 31. It was 99 degrees out. They've been having a ridiculous heat wave over there in Europe. And she tried to go into a Tesco where a security guard tried to block her at the door, warning that someone could, quote, untie her outfit and leave her exposed. Her solution, throw a sweaty gym hoodie over her shoulders just to finish the grocery run. Tesco has since apologized.
That's reasonable.
Seems a bit extreme. Really?
Yeah. So, why? What's extreme?
Blaming the woman is what you're saying.
Listen. Do you think this is appropriate wear in a public environment where there could be kids?
I mean, I think if it's 100 degrees out, I think you need to make some considerations.
Is this a top you would wear?
I would rock that top personally.
You lie. You are a
I would
liar.
look so good. I would look so good in that, and you know it, and that's why you're upset because you're jealous.
That's because you want everybody to see your Lindsey Graham back tattoo. You have your lower
My
back.
lady G tramp stamp.
Disgusting. Yeah, I mean, listen. Yeah, you do what you can with this. Nobody say. Listen, you can't say that this is appropriate wear.
All right. Speaking of which, do you think Europe is finally going to embrace air conditioning now?
I really hope so, because they have had such a heat wave.
And it feels like this, again, it's not something that's going to change. Like the climate's just going to continue to get worse. And people, they've been sold out of air conditioners and fans over there. I mean, we were there coming up on a year now since we were in
almost a year
in the UK for your wedding reception there, and it was in the 80s, and we were in a hotel with no air conditioning, and it was uncomfortable. I can't imagine what that would have been like at 100 degrees or higher.
Just brutal, utterly brutal.
Brian, I know you got a chuckle out of this story, Brian. Swifties are paying a lot of money for cubes of trash from outside Taylor and Travis's wedding. New York City artist Justin Gignac tuxedoed up, swept the sidewalks around Madison Square Garden after the Swift-Kelsey nuptials, and sealed the hall containing cigarette butts, a ring pop, a lone AirPod, an ovulation test, into acrylic cubes like you see here. He look at that. He labeled them. He dated them. He did the whole just TNT married thing on them. So $25 pocket garbage, and then $100 for deluxe trash, which Brian sold out in a day. One enterprising eBayer is even hawking a bag of wedding air, claiming to be from inside Madison Square Garden, for $50,000.
And can you say that is not lovely, lovely garbage from Madison Square Garden? By the way, speaking of which, I'd like you to know that I was at Madison Square Garden yesterday.
Oh, were you? That's right. You had the concert.
Breathing 1 week old air of Taylor Swift's wedding. That's right. I went to go see Lionel Richie with Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I'm going to tell you something. I went looking for garbage all over the place. A lot of garbage. None of it was from Taylor Swift's wedding.
None of Taylor. No Travis.
No. But I'm going to say this to you.
How was the show?
Nothing but hits from Lionel Richie. And by the way, he pronounces it Lionel. Little did I know, I spent my whole life calling it Lionel Richie. He is Lionel Richie. Oh, nothing but hits. You Are, Say You, Say Me. He did We Are the World. He did Lady. He did Easy, a couple Commodore songs. He did Brick House.
Of course.
He looks a little, I mean, he's had some work done. And, he's of an advanced age, so the body movements similar to like an animatronic creature you would see in a horror movie. He's not really limber. It's not what I would call him. But, he made a lot of jokes about his dizzy spell that he had a couple weeks ago, forced him to cancel a couple concerts. Made a lot of jokes about that. By the way, I'm still working on this beer, which is almost unheard of. It is sour, and usually with the sour, there's some sweetness to it, but this is brutal.
So Lionel, though, better than, for example, we see the videos of like Frankie Valli and Barry Manilow.
Not even close.
At, like, you can't compare. To move their mouth while lip syncing. This is an actual performance that he's doing.
He is performing. Correct. He is performing. He's got a great band. If it comes to your town, I highly recommend it.
All right. Next up, let's get one more story in. We're going to go down to Florida, where a drunk 84-year-old man burned his own face while trying to torch the ex who dumped him after 42 years. This is a mugshot of Franklin Davis. He and his ex-girlfriend of 4 decades were arguing in a parked car at a Broward County 7-Eleven when he allegedly poured gasoline on the dashboard and lit it with her still inside. She suffered third-degree burns to her legs. Davis, who was closer to his own handiwork, burned his hands and face worse than she did. You can definitely see face not looking great in this photo. He's facing attempted murder and arson charges. He is held without bond, and he reportedly asked the judge if he'd still get to see his ex after all this.
Oh my God, this is lunacy. I hope the answer is no.
I feel he's going to do some jail time.
Yeah, I would agree.
I feel like
I hope he's going to do some jail time.
I feel like it might happen. I don't know. You tell me. All right,
He
well, we've
deserves
covered a
it.
lot here, Brian.
Let's just say he deserves jail time.
He does. He deserves jail time. Exactly.
Yeah.
The only thing we
definitely.
haven't talked about yet, Brian, is our Patreon.
Oh,
if
yes,
you go
yes,
to
yes.
cultofronandbrian.com, you click in the upper right-hand corner, and you join at the $10 a month level or higher. You can join us on After Dark, which will be taking place at 9:30 tonight. You can subscribe at $5, but you just get the audio afterwards. As we have often said, got to get the audio, got to get the video.
Got to do it.
It's that important. But we will have that later today. We had a great pajama party last week. We had a Can You Beat Ron? 2 of our Patreon subscribers, both Janelle and William Esquire, beat me in a spirited Can You Beat Ron contest last week. It was humbling. I think is the word I'm looking for. Very humbling.
I believe you got one question right, maybe 2 at most.
1. I only got 1 question right. Now you
Not good.
You could blame the exam itself. You could blame the pettiness of the quiz master, but that's really just looking in the past. We like to look forward, and we look forward to tonight's After Dark, which I think is going to be spectacular, as it always is.
Definitely. Yeah, listen, folks, it's a way to pay it forward. You're enjoying the show. You're listening for free. You sit there and you say, hey, how can I help out the show? How can I contribute? Join the Patreon.
All right, sounds good. Anything else, Brian, before we wrap up episode 413 and get ready
I'm good.
For After Dark? All right, everybody.
I'm good.
Thanks for joining us this Sunday night. We will catch you next week.
Takes rising, orders given. Once you're in, you're never leaving.